if you are watching right now, this is the replay. We are no longer live, but welcome. Today I'm going to be making a custom order. I'm making the Kiana, which is this bag right here, but we're actually doing it at 85% because she wanted it a little bit smaller than the regular one. So anytime you want to adjust a pattern size, you want to just print it out at 85% under the print options. You should be able to see the scale that you can print it at. Hey Janice, hey Just Mammy. Happy Monday. All right, so if you missed it, we're gonna be making this exact bag right here. We're just gonna be making it at 85%. Janice, let me show you what the blocks look like when I reduce the sizes of them. Hi. So this is going to be the front slip pocket, which is this part right here. I cut these blocks 3.5 by 3.5, and I used a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So for the Kiana front slip pocket, you'll need 3 rows of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. And then on the full side of the panel, this is where the zipper pocket goes. You'll want to cut the exact same thing. So once I trimmed it down, one's a little bit smaller than the other one, but we still have 3 rows, 5 columns. Hello! And since Janice is here, we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. Let me set this aside. I've already prepped the shoulder straps, so I'm just gonna go ahead and knock that out. How was y'all's weekend? Just Mammy, I haven't had a chance to follow up with you. Hopefully you had a good out of town trip. Now I will say that there are a couple of pieces on this pattern that you do not want to reduce the width of. The items that come to top of mind, I hate saying that, to mind is the width of the connectors. It was amazing. I love hearing that. The width of the shoulder strap connectors, the width of the accent piece for the slip pocket inside, and the width for the zipper panel. Good, working on a big bead for myself. Love it. Are you doing it in a print or a solid color? Did you go by yourself, Just Mammy? I can't remember if you told me if you went with somebody or not. Alright, so I'm just folding up my shoulder strap so I can get that sewn. Set it aside. Hi! Really pretty daisy print. Were you working on that the last time I was live, or was there somebody else doing a daisy print? My sister-in-law. Nice. All right, let's get this folded. Tomorrow I have the sewing machine guy coming in, looking at my machine. Hopefully he can fix it. That was probably me. Okay. I'm just checking my tension. We're good. It's Monday, I know. But that just means 4 more days until the weekend. We have to get through today to get back to the weekend. So obviously I won't be live tomorrow since he'll be here looking at my sewing machine. Happy Monday! Uh-oh. I stitched one too far. You have a Harvard Law. It says just kidding on the bottom. I made this shirt ages ago. No, I am not that smart. Was it hard? I would imagine so. I wouldn't know. Alright, last stitch. Let me singe my little threads. Okay, I'm going to grab my lobster clasp and some rivets. This shoulder strap is detachable, so you can sew it or clip it on the bag, or you can make it detachable. Totally preference. All right, let me get my punch. How was my weekend? It was good. What did I do this weekend? I don't think I did it. We didn't do anything. My husband was dealing with some stuff with his job, so we kind of hung around the house. And I was able to get a little bit of work done. How have you been on lately? I was on a couple of times last week. Or do you mean like today? I just started the live like 5 minutes ago. Hello, welcome. All right, gonna add my rivets and then secure it, and then we're going to move on. I'm gonna go ahead and do the interior of the bag first. Put that away, grab my press. There we are. So the shoulder strap is done. That is what she looks like. And then let's go ahead and do the interior. So I'm going to start with my zipper closure. I don't know if you can see. I know it's kind of dark back there. Sorry. We have cotton for the zipper panel. And then cotton for the end, and this is the same as the interior. I used to catch you in the evening. Yeah, so when you caught me in the evening, I was living in Hawaii. I live in Virginia now, so the time zone changed. So like normally in Hawaii, I would go live around the same time, 11, 12 o'clock, and that would be like 6 p.m. Eastern. So things have changed a little bit. Now I'm going to be more like a little lunchtime live. I think I went live one Saturday, or maybe it was later in the evening one time, and I'm gonna try to keep doing that if I can. I'm gonna try. I can't promise. Hey Stacy. All right, so I marked both sides of my zipper where it is, that's where I'm going to pinch it down right along that line. And then I'm going to pull up the back of it, and that's gonna give me a really nice 90-degree angle. I'm gonna put a pin in there until I can sew it down. And then that's going to allow our zipper to sit really nice and pretty in our panel. Can I get a charm on the purse and the wallet? Yes. Did you want that instead of the name tape, like I did the last one? Alright, so we just folded those down. It'll have a nice rounded edge when we're done. I mean, you can have both if you want. If you want both, just tell me what side you want the nameplate to go on. There we are. And then now I'm just going to trim off the excess on the side. Hi, Zon. How was your weekend? And then hit that with a lighter. There we are. So that is now what our zipper is going to look like. And I'm going to go ahead and just tape that in place in the zipper panel and then sew it down. Nameplate on the open pocket. The slip pocket, this one right here. Which foot do you prefer on your Juki for bag making? So I just used the one that it came with. I've bought like the left and right zipper foot. I have a couple of other feet that I've tried. I just used the regular one it came with. Yes, okay. Alright. 1/2 inch double-sided tape on just 2 of these pieces. Once I apply this to the zipper, there's going to be enough of this double-sided tape to connect to the other side when we put that down. Hi, Jay Davidson. Alright, so let me get this lined up and pressed in place. See how you heard that stickiness? That means the back of it is open. I'm gonna go ahead and line this up. There we are. So that's 1/2. Hi, Debbie. Finally caught me live. And I just started. There we go. Hey, Lisa. Okay, and the back. Why doesn't that look like it lined up? It's a little short. I taped it down a little short. How's the new place? It's good. It's good. A lot of room, a lot more room than I had in my last place. So that is definitely a plus. There we go. I was scrolling TikTok and there you were live. That's me. Alright, so that's what our zipper panel looks like, and because we angled the zipper teeth, it sits in there nicely. Alright, so let's go ahead and sew this in place. We'll get the zipper pull out of the way. What did the HOA say about the nasty letter? So I talked to the HOA president. Actually, she came over here and we sat down and we chatted for like almost an hour. They never got the notice from the neighbor who sent me that letter, so she just lied. And they said that it's not the first time that she's mailed those kind of letters to other residents and just to ignore it. Alright, sewn in. This is what we're looking like, and that's what the top of it looks like. So front, back, and then now we're going to add the zipper pull. I mean, the zipper end. Finally back to regular. Yes, for the most part. I don't really have a regular schedule yet just because I've got appointments and all kinds of things going on. Life is lifing right now. I know I won't be on live tomorrow, but I will definitely be on either Wednesday or Thursday. If you're in my Facebook group, I post before I come live. So this morning, I think at like 7:30, I made a post in my Facebook group saying that I was going live at 11 Eastern. This is a Juki 1181. All right, so we have the zipper end just clipped in place. I'm going to go ahead and sew that down. I'm just gonna go nice and slow around the curve. Oh gosh, I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Okay, that instone on. I'm going to just singe the edges of my thread. So here's what we're looking like with our zipper in. So our zipper panel is all done. All we're going to do is make a mark in the center, and that's going to be necessary for when we put all of the interior pieces together. Thanks. Thank you guys. All right, really quick, let's do our gusset for the inside. So the gusset for the inside gets accent pieces of vinyl at the very top, so we're just gonna go ahead and sew those on. If you've never sewn before, bag or really anything, think of it as putting a puzzle together, or even cooking. Like you make certain things and then you put everything together. So we're kind of prepping our pieces, and then at the end we're just gonna wind up putting it all together. Hi Tabitha. And then now we're gonna go ahead and open them up, and then we're going to do a top stitch, and that's going to allow this to lay nice and flat. It also gives it a really pretty finish. Hi Jilly. Happy Monday. Alright, so here we are. But I don't know if you can see it, I'm using light purple thread. So that's what the gusset looks like, and that's going to go down the center of the interior. So it's kind of going to be like this. And now for the front and the back of this, we're going to go ahead and work on those. So on one side of the interior, we have a dual slip pocket, and then on the other side of the interior, we have a zipper pocket. So I did the zipper pocket earlier. So it's just a regular old zipper pocket. I leave the bottom open. We're going to turn the bag right side out through this pocket. And then I'm going to work on excuse me, the dual zipper right now. Good morning. Happy Monday. Hi, Arlene. So this is just 2 pieces of cotton, wrong sides together. I just did a stitch along the top just to keep these 2 pieces together. And then I'm going to add this accent piece on top of that, and that's going to cover up that raw edge. The rest of the raw edges are going to be sewn into the bag, so you don't have to make sure that they are no longer raw. We need a better term for raw edges. Unfinished edges. Unkept. Alright, so double-sided tape on both sides. That's going to hold this in place while we sew it down. Hi, Natalie. What's wrong with raw edges? I don't know. I feel like it's just too much to say. Raw edges. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I think we should just find a unique way of saying it. I'll find a unique way of saying it. Has your new neighbor calmed down? I got a second letter a few weeks ago, but I haven't heard anything else. So, hopefully. Good Good morning, Frost Island Treasures. All right, so I sew this down with just one line of stitching. I personally like the look of a second row of stitching. You can stop here. You don't need to do the second part. Julie, I am in Virginia, Northern Virginia. Good morning, Cather. I just personally like the look of 2 rows of stitching better. It's just my preference. And then I'm just going to lay this down. Pin it in place and then sew it to the panel. Good morning. Are you missing Hawaii? So this morning it was cold. The sun hasn't really been out for a couple of days. So I do miss the weather. I miss the people too. The people were definitely a lot kinder in Hawaii than in Northern Virginia. Hi, Sherry. I'm just adding a couple pins so it doesn't shift around when I sew it. I must have missed the neighborhood drama. What was she upset about? So when I first moved in, the movers took 2 days. So they came on, I believe, a Thursday and a Friday. So she didn't like that they were here for 2 days. She said that, so our stuff was packaged up in crates and they were nailed, the crates were nailed shut. She said that they left nails in the road. She told me that this isn't, what did she say? She said this isn't military housing. This is, and then she gave the name of the place where I live, my neighborhood. I was like, ma'am, how rude can you be? Not that I lived in military housing, and not that there's anything wrong with that. I know generals that live in military housing. But she was just really nasty. And the movers did leave nails on the ground, but obviously I picked them up because I don't want to run over a nail, or I don't want my husband running over a nail and puncturing his tire. So obviously those were picked up. But she's just been nasty. So rude. If you need a posse, I'm not that far away. The person that I think that it is because I've spoken to her before, and just her demeanor and the way that she speaks, I'm assuming that it's her. And I've kind of gotten confirmation by somebody else. But anyways, I wish her well. But if it's who I'm pretty sure it is, she's like in her 80s, so she's just, you know, grumpy. Like, I had a few conversations with this woman, and she recently got injured and said that she has to take like Uber and things everywhere. And I was like, well, I work from home. If you ever need anything, just knock on my door. I will be here. So like, I was shocked when I found out that it was her. But I would still offer her a ride. I would still help her if she needed help. That, to me, that's just petty. High fence. We live in an HOA, so. Thanks, Jelena. All right, so I went ahead and sewed down the center of my pocket. That's going to separate them out. So we have 2 very generous sized pockets with a really pretty accent slip on the top. I'm just marking the center of the top and the bottom. Which we're going to need for the next step. Oh, there we are. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to sandwich our zipper panel. Remember how we marked the center? We're going to line up that center with the center mark that I just made. And then the interior has this little accent piece on the top, so it's going to be a sandwich. We're going to have the front or back, whatever, main piece. We're going to have the zipper, and then we're going to have the accent. We're going to sew all three of them together. Hi, Nancy. Yes, I'm in the States, Sherry. I'm in Northern Virginia. All right, so I'm just getting everything lined up, making sure that it's perfectly centered. This, you don't have to mark the center of it because it lines up exactly the width of the top. So you just start on one end and then clip all the way to the other end. What are you making? So I'm making this bag right here. I'm just making it at 85%, so a little bit smaller. Do you have any holiday pieces coming up, like Halloween or Christmas? I don't know if I'll be able to get to Halloween. I would love to. I'm not sure if I have any vinyl with me. I don't know. Good question. Let me make myself a note. So I know that I have some Halloween cotton, and I can make some pieces. So this is all cotton that has been quilted together with some fleece. So I know that I can make some Halloween, but Halloween vinyl, I don't know if I have any, so I'm gonna have to check my stash. But I think something Halloween quilted would be so cute. That's stitched on, and then now what we're going to do is open this up so that we can do a top stitch. I want to make sure that my pocket is down. I'm not sewing over that. I have done that before. Wristlets would also be nice. Yes. Yes. What I may do, if I find any Halloween vinyl, I'll probably post it in my Facebook group, and then I'll offer it to whoever, like a first come, first serve. And that way you can kind of design it however you want to. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Remember how we notched the center? I'm going to go ahead and match that center. Add my accent piece. And then sew everything down. Yeah, I was on a couple of times last week. If you missed me, if you want to watch it again, I upload all of my lives from TikTok to my YouTube page, which is just butter_bags. It's also linked to my TikTok profile. So I go live on TikTok and then I upload it on YouTube. I missed the question. Have you tried vinyl quilted? Or no, I have actually. Let me show you. This right here is quilted vinyl. So I don't cut it into pieces like I do this one. It's just a full size, and then I used fusible foam, one layer of foam, and then I just drew a pattern, and then I just sewed my rows each way. This is what it looks like on the back. And then the sides and the bottom is just regular vinyl. So this part's quilted, this part's quilted. It gives it a lot more structure to the bag. So yep, I have. Do you have a YouTube of you making the, yep, I sure do. I sure do. It's either on the thumbnail or it's listed in the actual name of the pattern. But yeah, I've made the Teresita train case quite a few times. It's just a little piece of thread. All right, let's top stitch. The Teresita train case is honestly so easy. I'll preface that by saying anytime you make any bag for the first time, it's going to be a little bit challenging. But if you are a sewist, if you're, you know, regular to bag making, it's not a challenging bag at all. All right, so we have the both sides of the interior, and then remember how we made our gusset first? That's gonna go around here, this piece right here. I think y'all want to see a video of how it's made. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's super simple. We're going to match the center to the bottom center that we clipped, snipped, and then take this all the way around both sides like that. Do I have a website? Yes. Thanks, Just Mammy. Yep, butterbags.com. It's also linked on my TikTok profile. So if you go over to my TikTok profile, right underneath the follow button is a list of all my links. So it's got YouTube, my website, and Instagram, I think. Let me grab some more clips. So I'm just bringing this all the way around. And what's really important when you do the side right here is to make sure that your vinyl is matching on the interior. So where the vinyl and cotton end, you want to make sure that that lines up perfectly. Even if it's a little too tall, and if it doesn't match up right here, that's okay. It's really important to make sure that that interior lines up. Now, if you sewed it with all the correct seam allowances, you should be good. Mine's just a touch short, which is fine. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Patty. You're about a half hour late, so not too late. You haven't missed like a whole bunch. All right, now for our corners, I like to use some pins, and that just keeps the fabric from shifting because I have to take off the clips to sew. I don't have to take off the pins to sew. Welcome, August Mom. Hope you like it here. We won't write you any nasty letters. All right, one more on this side, and then I'm going to pin the other one down. Good morning. All right, last one. There we go. So we have our gusset pinned and clipped all the way around, and then I'm just going to go ahead and sew that into place. Making sure I have everything out of the way, so I'm only sewing these two pieces together. What's that bag called? The name of the pattern is Kiana. This is my pattern. It is available for sale on my website. So if you want to make this bag, you can purchase the pattern and make it. Did you have your sewing machine fixed tomorrow? He's coming tomorrow to fix it. Alright, so we have the gusset sewn to one side, and then all we have to do is flip the other side down, attach that to the gusset, and sew it, and then the interior is done. And then we can work on the exterior. I would say there's quite a few pieces to this bag, so it's not like a super easy bag, but it's not hard. It's just doing it for the first time, getting down the steps, getting all of the pieces together. All of my patterns, well, not all of my patterns, all of my patterns come with a video tutorial. Is this a drop-in pattern? Yes. No, it's not. No, it's not a drop-in. So we're going to turn the bag through our pocket. I think the only drop-in pattern that I have is the Leilani. All right, so we clipped it down the straight ways, and then we're just going to go ahead and pin the curves. All right, one more, and then let's sew her up. Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Fraticelli. Sewn together. Let me take away these pins. I'm going to trim a little bit of my seam allowance away from my curves just to reduce the amount of bulkiness inside of the bag. I'll probably just do it all the way down. Just to get rid of some of this weight. Hi, Latoya. Same thing on this side. All right, I'm not going to go up to where the vinyl accent pieces are. Clean up. All right, now I'm just going to open the vinyl seam and just sew that flat. That way when we're putting the interior and exterior together, it's a little bit easier. So I'm just going to open it up, just sew right along the side. Is it your pattern? If so, can you tell me if you sell it? Yes, this bag is my pattern. It's called the Kiana, and it's available on my website. Thanks, Kimberly. All right, same thing over here. Done. All right, inside is all done. And this is what she looks like. So it's at 85%, so it's a little bit smaller than the original one. I'm gonna put them together side by side when I'm all done. But it still has the same dual slip pocket on the inside as well as a zipper pocket on the inside. And then we have a slip pocket on the outside and we have a zipper pocket on the outside, which I'm going to do now. But this is what it looks like. I'm gonna set this aside. And then let's do, oh shucks, I forgot to get, let's do the zipper pocket first. I forgot to get my magnetic snap. I need 2 of them. No, I need 1 of them. All right, so this is gonna be the zipper pocket for the outside. So we're just going to lay the fabric right side up. We're going to put the zipper on here right side up at the top and then just sew that down. I'm gonna grab some water. Grab some water. Alright, I'm going to turn my iron on, get that heating up. We're going to do the same thing with the other side of the zipper pocket. Right side up, we're going to lay the zipper right side up at the top and sew. Hi, I gotta run for an appointment. Okay, bye. What would be a good first time bag to make? Do you have any sewing experience? Or is this like a first time sewing project? There's tons of great patterns out there for newbies. The wristlet's good. I sell a wristlet pattern, which is, I would say, aside from the zipper, so the zipper is going to be a little bit more challenging if you're new. Okay, so I just ironed that down. I'm going to add my zipper pull and then set this aside. There we go. So that's what our pocket is going to look like on the inside. So when you open up the zipper, you're going to be able to see the right side of the fabric. And my first apron, thanks to I started sewing. Oh, I love that, Becky. How did your apron turn out? Yes, sewing experience, zipper's okay. I've never met. Yeah, so I have a wristlet pattern, which is this right here. If you're good with zippers, this is a very easy. You connect this to this, and then you connect the zipper to the outside and inside, and then you sew it all together. So I would say that that's a pretty simple pattern. Good, I'm so glad to hear that. I think an apron was the very first thing I ever sewed. I'm pretty sure I may have made like a really cheap looking fabric tote bag, but I'm almost positive it was an apron. It comes up on my Facebook memories every year. Have you done any patchwork in the wristlet size? I have not, but I think that would be really pretty. I might do that later on tonight just to see what that looks like. Alright, so here is our zipper overlay. This is a free pattern on my website. You can have it. Your tutorial for the wristlet is very easy. Oh, thanks. I like to hear that. I think so, but I have been sewing for a really long time, so I can't look at my patterns from a newbie's perspective. So I really like to get feedback, honest feedback. If it's too hard, I'd rather hear that. Okay. I'm just going to measure and center my zipper panel. Yeah, so I think that it would be really pretty to do a wristlet in this little cotton patchwork. And I have a ton of these little blocks cut out already, so it would be too easy to do one. All right, so that's just taped in place. And then now what I'm going to do is sew around the outside of it to attach it. Gonna go nice and slow around those curves. If I was able to get the zipper right the first time, your red patch would look so good. Oh, the this one right here, Americana. I think I'm calling it Americana. This is called Lilac. This is available on my website for sale if anybody is interested in it. This one that I'm making right now is the same thing. It's just a little smaller. And this one that I'm making is a custom order, so it's not available. Crystal. Good morning. Okay, so that is sewn on. I'm just pulling my threads back, knotting them off to secure them. Singeing those little threads left behind. All right, so that's what it looks like stitched on. And then now I'm going to get rid of the fabric that's on the inside of here. Just gonna cut it away. Hi Robin, I just ordered the kitty cat. Oh, thanks Angie. If you just placed your order today, I can get it out first thing tomorrow. Uh-oh. Jay? Yeah. Okay, I'm on live still. Just want to make sure that was my husband and nobody was breaking in the house. Okay. So I'm just going to cut this away. Good morning. Okay, there we are. So now the fabric is cut out. I usually leave about 1/4 of an inch all the way around on the inside. I'm going to add some double-sided tape, and that way we're going to tape our zipper pocket, the one that we made earlier, in place, and then we're going to sew it down. I'm going to purchase your passport case and give it a try. Jacqueline, I would say that that's a pretty easy pattern as well. I would probably say the hardest part is just cutting out the pattern. Because it has a raw edge, using vinyl, it needs to be pretty accurate for the front and the back inside pockets. But as far as sewing it, I think there's only like 3 things that you sew. The flap to connect it, the section for the credit cards, and then all the way around. Jolene, I do have a few cow bags, so if you go to my website and just search cow, anything that I have that's cow related will pop up. But yeah, I know I have this one right here, which is the bag that I'm making, a full-size bag that I'm making. And when I'm done with that, this, if you would like to see it, I can pull it and show it to you. All right, let's go ahead and get this centered. It's not centered. And then press the tape in place. There we are. Oh, it's just a little high on this side. There we go. And then now we're going to go ahead and sew around the inside of the box to secure this. Just want to double check, make sure it's even. It is. Janice, you said the slip pocket is where you wanted the name tape, right? Okay, you did such a great job. Do you ever make any mistakes? Yes. I am not perfect. Sometimes if I'm like thinking of something else or have a lot on my mind or stressed out, yes, I do make mistakes. I don't think anybody, no matter how long you've been sewing, is perfect all the time. So if you're not either, that's okay. I've made mistakes on live. I've made some big mistakes on live where I've had to like end the live because I couldn't finish making the item and reorder more fabric. It doesn't happen very often. I think that's only happened like maybe twice. And I've been doing this for quite a few years. But yes, it definitely happens. All right. I'm just knotting off my threads. So that's what it looks like sewn in. The interior box is what we just did. And then now I'm just going to, so my pocket is open. I'm just going to trim it flush with the bottom. I'm going to pull the top down to connect it and then sew all the way around to close it. So I had to drop off. Which one are you making? The Kiana. I wish I could stick around and see the finished bag. Okay, bye Trudy. This will be on my YouTube later if you want to watch the end of it. I'm going to actually, this is only 2 layers of cotton, and this is a machine for heavy duty fabric. So I was thinking about just doing this on my other machine, but if I lower the tension, dial the tension down, maybe a little more, hopefully. Oh. See how it puckers? And that's just because the tension, I can't get it low enough to sew just 2 layers of fabric. So that's, it puckers up. So I'm actually just gonna have to take it to my other sewing machine and just sew it up. It's right next door. Right next to me. Let me get that out. I'm just gonna resew it. Thanks, Arlene. All right, give me 1 second. Let me scoot over here. You'll probably be able to hear me sew it. That's actually the sewing machine that I sewed all these pieces of cotton together because it is for lighter weight. So I'm just gonna get all this extra fabric out of here. The other one is a Juki DDL 5550-6. So it's also a Juki. There we go. I'm just going to cinch the edges of my zipper just so they don't unravel. And then this side is all done. So this is the side with the zipper pocket. When you open it up, it's now fully lined and that zipper is sewn shut. Do I make backpacks? Yes. I don't think that I have any though. I think all of my backpacks are sold. Hi Cindy, how are you? All right, so I'm gonna set this aside. Let's work on our slip pocket. So Patricia, do you want the name tag just in the center? Let me grab one so I can show you what it'll look like. I shouldn't have taken that out. So that's what it'll kind of look like in the center. Okay. I mean the alternative, let's see. I don't think I would have the clearance to add it up here because I would have to top stitch, so I won't be able, so yeah, center, let's do center. All right, so let's mark the center of the top and the bottom. Boop. Boop. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. Actually, just gonna measure down. Go. That would be gold. Good. Hey Brenda, how are you? It's Monday. So that's what it'll look like. So that's center, but I know it's not center in that actual square, but it's the actual center of the full panel. Is that gonna bother you? That there's a little bit more space on one side than the other? I can move it over if it will. Let me know. Hi Maggie, I've been moving. Bluebird, so this question is for Janice. This is her custom order. I can shift it over just a little bit, and then I can just lock up the, oh, let me get this puzzle piece. And then I can lock up the material so it won't fray or anything. Just let me know what you would prefer. While I'm waiting for that, let me grab some magnetic snap. Okay, Janice, move it, or it's okay where it is. While I'm waiting on that, let me go ahead and do our magnetic snap. What do I think? I would probably shift it over a little bit. If it were my bag, I would want it shifted over a little bit. Let me mark the center. Just finished work. Now I'm driving 1.5 hours to a car appointment. Okay, Deanie. I was wondering where you were. It would bother me too. Let me see if she's responded. Yeah, I would want it shifted over. But it's totally up to you. I hope you had a good weekend, Deanie. While I'm waiting, I'm just going to install, or not even install, I'm just going to poke through where my magnetic snap closure goes. I'm going to install it later. Hi, Arlene. Shift over. You got it. All right. So what I'm going to use is this fray check, which it keeps your fabric from fraying, and this is for just for cotton. So let me poke out the new holes, and then I'm going to put that fray check on the old holes. And because this part of the bag is not going to get like any wear, so she's not going to be rubbing on it because this is going to be over top of it, and the inside is going to be lined. So there won't be any like friction directly on here. You don't have to worry about this coming apart. It's not going to. I can guarantee that. So I'm just going to add a little bit of fray check on the back. And then a little bit, it's kind of like glue for cotton on the front. Going to put this in the new holes. Oh, I don't think that's the new hole. What's the new hole? There we are. Put the back on and then secure it down. Could those squares be made with vinyl? Yeah, but you don't even have to cut squares of vinyl. I mean, you could if you wanted to, but what you could also do is just fuse a piece of foam on the back of a solid piece of vinyl, and then you can just sew squares. I showed it earlier, but this bag right here is diamonds, and I did that the exact same way. I quilted just one solid piece of vinyl. I didn't cut any squares, but yeah, of course, if you wanted to cut squares, you absolutely could. It's gonna be kind of bulky though. All right, so there we are. Now she is nice and centered. Sorry, I was delayed answered. No worries. My husband does that to me all the time too. Like especially at the most inopportune time. All right, let me set that aside. We're going to sew the slip pocket outside and inside fabrics together. I like the look of the different pattern. Yeah, me too. But yeah, you can. I had my tension down from earlier. Normally I would trim off a little bit of this. I'm gonna leave it on just because it's not vinyl. The outside is cotton, so it shouldn't make that big of a difference. Now I'm just going to flip the back lining so that I can top stitch it. Maybe zigzag the vinyl together for less bulk. Yeah, you can do that, or you can do kind of like an applique, so you can just sew them with raw edges. You can line them up, overlapping the pieces, and then just sew them together. You could do that too. There we are, there we are. And then I'm gonna go ahead and top stitch. Lizzie, hello, how long have you been sewing? I've been interested in learning any advice. Yeah, do it. Don't wait. Do it. I've been sewing for a little over 11 years. So I started later in life, and I'm just 100% self-taught from YouTube videos. Just watch videos. There's so many free patterns out there. Like, for example, when I first started sewing clothes, there was a pattern for like a pair of shorts, and all you do is take a pair of, like, I had some like cotton boxer shorts, and use the shorts that fit you the best to make a new pattern for them, and then cut your material and sew them together. There's so much great information on YouTube. But yeah, do it. Do I sew other things? Yes, I do. I've sewn a few quilts, I sew clothes, I've sewn pillows for my couch, blankets, curtains, yeah, a lot of other things. Alright, so our magnetic snap, I installed that, and then now I'm just going to sew along the outside just to combine these two pieces together. now we have the front and the back to our bag. How cute is this? Trying to get it centered, sorry. So just like the interior, now we're going to make the gusset that goes around both sides of this bag. I'm so in love. I actually think I like the smaller blocks better. All right, so the gusset is where we have our shoulder strap connectors. I'm going to do that first. Thanks, Janice. Fabric colors and pat. Oh, thanks. All right, so we're going to do, my dog's gonna walk through here. I don't know if you caught a look at her. So we have two shoulder straps. We have one shoulder strap, two connectors. Add some double-sided tape. Butters. What is Butters? Yeah, that was Butters. She heard her name. She's coming back over. So after we moved here, not long after we moved here, I had to get her a grooming appointment. So I normally go to PetSmart. So I found the local PetSmart. I went there and they chopped like all her tail hair off. I was astonished. She's always had hair, like long hair on her tail, and they just chopped it all off. So she doesn't look her best right now. Yes, I moved to Northern Virginia. All right, so this is a reduced pattern. When you reduce the size of your pieces, you do not want to reduce the width. If you're using 1-inch connectors, you want to, so the regular pattern is written for 1-inch connector pieces, and you want to keep the width of it the same. You are going to reduce the length though. That way, when it attaches to the side, it lines up perfectly. Thanks. It says just kidding. I made this shirt ages ago. I actually have been meaning to make myself like a new sweatshirt. Do they both do well with the move? Yeah, they did. We got some really good medicine for them for the flight over. We changed some, so there's hardwood floors in this entire house. And we just had to add a couple of extra rugs and some stuff to the stairs so that they can go up and down fine. But yeah, they're fine. I remember you really wanted to move. Thanks. There we go. All right, so we're going to add some double-sided tape to the back, and that's just going to stick to the sides while I'm sewing it down. So I'm just taking the backing off to expose the tape, get that nice and centered. There we go. And then do the same thing here. And then we're going to sew them together. And then there's just a few more steps, then we'll be done. She ordered a mini zip around wallet to go with this as well. I'm not going to have time to make that today. There's just some stuff I have to go do. But if you're in my Facebook group, I will post a picture of the finished set there later today. Is that Solid Vibe Violet? This is vinyl. It's like a lilac color. I got it from marinevinylfabric.com. The solid vinyl. There we go. So that is what it looks like stitched down. I'm also going to put a rivet right in the center just to reinforce the stitching, because all of the weight of the bag is going to be on these two pieces, because this is where our shoulder strap is. So the entire weight of the bag will be on these two long pieces. So I'm just going to reinforce it with a rivet. Because we're stitching so much of it, does it need to be reinforced? No, but I think it just adds a little extra to the bag also, a little extra bling. There we are. I'm going to make sure everything is nice and centered by just making a mark. Poke a hole through. It's so relaxing to listen to and watch you sew and explain what you're doing. Thanks. I appreciate it, Duke. Maybe here. Is that special? No, this foot is what came with my sewing machine. New here. How do I join your Facebook group? So I have two different groups. If you're interested in buying my finished products, so like items that I've made that are for sale, the name of the group is Butter Bags. So you just go to Facebook, search Butter Bags, and then you know how on the top they give you different options like people, places, groups. You want to just click on groups and it'll be there. So Butter Bags is to buy finished products. If you want to learn more about sewing, or if you want to purchase my patterns, or if you want to see like other bags that other creators have made with my patterns, the name of that group is Butter Bag Patterns. When I go live, I post in both groups, so you're not going to miss anything. All right, let me get my rivets. Hi, Garlinda. And install these. You're welcome. Grab my press. And then now all we have to do for our gusset is just to add the bottom. So the gusset's going to be like this, side, bottom, side. So I'm just going to clip these together and then sew them. Good morning, good afternoon. Okay. One side. Do you always use the same size rivets? No, it depends on what I'm sewing. So for my shoulder straps and my connectors, yes, I use a medium size. I use small for smaller items, and then I use large for like my wristlet straps. I showed my wristlets before. They're right here. So my wristlet straps, there's actually like 6 or 8 layers of vinyl. So because of the thickness, I use the large for those. Alright, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to open up my gusset and I'm going to go ahead and top stitch right along the bottom. So I keep 3 sizes of rivets, small, medium, and large, and I use them all. I don't really use the small that often just because normally when I'm sewing it's with vinyl and that's a thicker type of material, so I need a bigger rivet. Oh yeah, I forgot you on these guys. It's okay. You're welcome, Latoya. Alright, so here's what it looks like top stitched on the bottom. And this is going to, again, go right in between our front and back. So let's go ahead, mark our centers. I think I already marked the center bottom of one. This one with the pocket. Yep, that one's done. Let me mark this one. I'm going to clip my zipper pocket out of the way so I don't accidentally sew over that. And then I'm going to mark the center of this. There we are. And then now we're just going to take one, it doesn't matter which one, we're going to clip the gusset all the way around like that and sew it in place. How much did you reduce the pattern? This is 85%. When I'm done, I'll sit them side by side so you can see the difference. I made myself one that was 85%, and I think I liked it for a little while, but I actually went back to the full size. It was just a touch too small for me. Okay, so just like the interior, remember when we clipped that together, we clipped and then we pinned our corners? Well, you can't pin vinyl, so what I'm going to do instead is staple it down. That way it won't shift when I sew, and then when I'm done sewing, I'm just going to remove the staples. Is the video glitchy for anyone else, or is it just me? I'll go out and come back in. Not glitchy. It's not glitchy for me. I'm just going to add some more staples on out. This is probably one of my most favorite staplers because it's so small. All right, one more. And we sew. Staples are a great idea. I wish I did that trick years ago. Do you have like a personal size bag for airlines? You mean like a carry-on size? No, I don't think I have anything that big. But if you're talking about me personally, yeah, so my personal bag when I travel is the Colette, which is this bag right. I don't think I have it showing up here. Done. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other side. After I sew both sides on, then I'm going to remove the staples because I'm going to staple this side as well. So match up the center bottom first. That way I know everything is lined up. And we'll come around to the sides. Thanks, Jules. What stapler is that? I want to get one for my bag. LaToya. Hold on, I'll grab it. But I have a Amazon shop list, Amazon storefront, I think is what it's called. So if you go to my website, Butterbags, under the menu, there is like shop by print, shop by style, and then there is a drop down that's DIY. If you click on that, I have my Amazon storefront link there. But give me a minute, when I grab it, I'll tell you the brand. I got it from Amazon though. It is Jim Holt's Ideology. Just a couple more. There we go. So that's what we're looking like right now. We're just gonna go ahead and sew this down, and then we're gonna take out the staples. And then we're going to sew the inside and outside together. And we're just about done. Take out our staples. I have so many tools. Where did I put it? Oh no. Where's my staple remover? So I'm just gonna pop these out. This staple remover is Boss Stitch. This is also linked on my Amazon storefront, or you can just find it on Amazon. Love it. Alright, that side is done. Looks like my seam allowance got just a little wonky over here. I'm just going to redo the side, just where it went a little off. There we go. And the thing I love the most about this is there's a magnetic piece to the back that picks it all up. Okay. Looks like just around this corner. Okay, so just like the inside, we are going to sew open our side seam so that way it lays nice and flat when we add the inside and outside together. Tim Hall's signature can look like Jem. Oh, is it Tim? Okay, yeah, it looks like Tim. I mean Jem. Tim Holtz ideology. Okay, done. So our exterior and interior are all finished. That's going to be the outside of the bag. But what we're going to do is tuck the inside and outside together. I'm going to open up my zipper pocket because this is how we're going to turn it right side out. Open this up, make sure all our zippers are opening up the same way. I'm going to start with lining up my side seams for the interior and exterior. Clip that in place. Do the same thing with the other side and then clip all the way around. Did a vendor pop up this weekend? Sold a Kiana. Oh, congrats, Gail. I love hearing that. Were there a lot of people there? Alright, so we start with our sides to line up the seams and then we just go ahead and clip everything together. Some more clips. Not really to do and I'm beat, I'm sure. I can't even imagine. I think I've done, like, in my entire life or career, I may have done 3 or 4 vendor events, but just lugging everything out is enough for me to pass. Setting up, all that jazz. It's a lot. I don't think people realize how much it is. Okay, so we have our inside and outside clipped together. I'm going to go ahead and sew all the way around the 2 pieces together, and that's why we open up our side seams, so that way we don't have to worry about this little edge when we're sewing on the top. So let me get my tension right. Let me grab some water. I've not caught you live in forever. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Marie. I moved. So we left Hawaii and we're in Northern Virginia right now. So I was away for a couple months. It took us about 3 months to move, get our stuff set back up. We're just gonna go nice and slow. She has curves, so we want to make sure we get those curves emphasized and we're sewing the right seam allowance all the way around. Just did one this past weekend and it was my last one. It's a lot of work, it really is. Sammy, this is the Kiana bag, which is this bag right here. And I'm making it at 85%. So it's a little bit smaller than the pattern. Almost back to the start, and then we're going to turn our right side out. Do I design them? So this one I did. There we are. Okay, I'm going to turn it right side out. Remember how we left the zipper pocket on the inside unclosed? So I'm just going to use that. That's a lot of work. And praying yourself stuff, yes. So will that one be available? So this one is a custom order. This one's not available. But this one right here is on my website. There's also a matching wallet that I've made. So the one up behind me is available for purchase, but this one is not. Michelle. It gets a little wrinkled when you put an entire bag through a zipper pocket, but that's okay. Normally I use my iron and I just put it down on the inside and get out the wrinkles. I have a smaller craft iron that I'm going to need to use because this iron is way too big to fit inside this bag. So I'm going to get all the wrinkles out, but it won't be until I get offline because my iron is over there. All right. Oh, this pattern? Are you talking about the Kiana bag pattern? That's available on my website. Thanks, Kara. Thanks, Sam. Alright, so now I'm just going to clip the inside and outside together so that way we can do a top stitch all the way around. And that's going to keep the inside from coming outside and vice versa. And it's just going to give it a really nice top stitch. I will take the bigger bag, please. So it's on my website. I can't give out prices online, but if you go to my website, butterbags.com, and you type in quilted, there are going to be a few search results, and this will be one of them, and you can check out right there. Gotta go unload from the event. Bye, Gail. I didn't realize this was your pattern. Yeah. That's okay, Brenda. Yeah, this pattern, the Kiana bag, is mine. And it's available for sale on my website. I created the pattern. Thanks. All right, a couple more clips. I want to make sure that my seams are pressed all the way out so I get that definition of the curve. There we are, there we are. Tuck this. I'm going to sew my zipper pocket shut so I don't forget about that. And then we'll top stitch. And top stitching is the last step. That's it. There we are. Zipper pockets in. Get everything tucked back in. Get my tension right, my stitch length right, and then let's top stitch. I want to make sure that my hardware is not pressed up, it's actually pressed down, so that way I don't accidentally sew over it and break my needle, which I've done before. Just go nice and slow all the way around. Thanks, Sammy. Thanks, Miranda. I'm going to just pause and trim my thread where I started. That way when I come back to my starting place, everything is nice and clean. We don't have any threads poking out. All right, almost back to the beginning. Back stitch. Hit those little baby threads with my lighter to seal them. There we are. Perfect. There's like some tiny little threads. So this is what the top stitching looks like. On the inside. I know the light's bad. So it just needs to get a little bit of a press with my smaller iron, but this is what she looks like all done. So we have the slip pocket over here with this magnetic snap. We have a zipper pocket over here on the back. I know you wanted a charm. I'm going to add that too. Zipper closure with a dual slip pocket on one side and then the zipper pocket on the other side. And then our strap, which was the very first thing that we did. And I'll pull down the other one so that way you can see the size difference between the regular and then the 85%. This is what she looks like all done. And then I actually made a wallet for this. So here's the difference. It's quite a difference. You wouldn't think that 15% would be such a big difference. Let me zip it. But it's definitely a big difference. So that's what they are. And then it's a big difference. I wish I could show you all. Big difference. Yeah. So I made myself this size. It's okay. I just prefer the larger one. I don't carry like a ton of stuff. So Janice, This will go out first thing tomorrow. After I make your wallet, I'll send you a picture of everything together. Thank you guys. Thanks. So this is all that I have to do today. If you want to follow along, I know I'm not going to be live tomorrow, Wednesday or Thursday. I will be live though, but you can check my Facebook group to get notification. Will you be making one for stock? This size, probably not, but if you're interested in an 85% one, I do have more of the material to remake it. Just send me an email, info@butterbags.com, and I can make a smaller one for you. Yes, Molly. Yep. Bye, Arlene. Thanks. All right, thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. I will see you later. Bye.